Well, how's the game going? Is your team winning? Are you happy with the way they're playing? We filmed this ahead of time, obviously, so we don't have any idea what the score is or what's happening. But one thing I do know, I know that neither one of these teams would be in the Super Bowl today if they had not made it their goal to get there. Now, they may have established that goal long before now. They may have set that as their goal before the beginning of the season, before they ever started, a goal of being in the Super Bowl. Or maybe it was after they won some strategic games. They won some very important games. And suddenly they began to believe, well, we really can do this. We really can make it to the Super Bowl. I know that they had to have that goal. You know, it's the same way in life. You don't accomplish much at all unless you have a goal in your mind and you're trying to pursue something. Same way in building a church. Can't build a church unless we have a goal. Our goal around here is to build a church of 500 people worshiping together. And we're pursuing that goal, but we recognize the fact that we can't make it to 500 in one great, big, giant step. It's going to take several smaller steps. On January the 4th of this year, I presented to you some of the steps that I think we can take this year that would help us reach that and at least take the next step toward reaching that goal of 500. And I want to share those with you today. But before I do, I want to remind you that we cannot possibly reach these goals unless we work together as a team. Let's take a look at the goals of what we're trying to do this year to help us build God's kingdom. The first goal I mentioned that day was the hiring of a new children's pastor. You know, we've added about a dozen or more children to our children's department in the last year. And they deserve the very best ministry we could possibly give them. Church growth experts tell us that if we don't win kids before they enter into their teen years, the chances that we'll reach them is much, much reduced. And we want to do our best to reach them. They deserve the very best ministry we can possibly give them. If we can introduce them to Jesus, we could possibly spare them a life of drugs, crime, who knows what all we could spare. But you know, we can only spread our volunteers so thin. They work hard, they do their very best, but we need somebody that has time and training and the ability to lead our kids and to give them the best ministry we can possibly provide. The second goal I mentioned that day was the goal of receiving 20 new members by professional faith. You know, you can really measure the true growth of the church by how many new people are they leading to Jesus Christ. Over the last 3 years, we've been able to lead about 15 a year to Him and to come into the church as a result of coming to know Him. But I believe we can increase that. We can boost that a little bit and make it 20 per year. That means we're all going to have to get involved. It means all of us are going to have to pray, make new friendships. We're going to have to share our faith. We're going to have to find natural ways to talk to people about Jesus Christ. But all of these things can work together to help us to reach more and more new people for Jesus Christ. The third goal that I mentioned on that day was the goal of increasing our worship attendance by 10%. We've made a little bit of a gain this year, and we're grateful for that. But you know, we could grow a whole lot faster than that. You can see by all of the empty pews that we have in our sanctuary that we could add a whole lot of people coming to worship with us. We have some of the best worship services. We enjoy the presence of the Lord. He chooses to meet with us. There's a spirit of victory, and all of those good things that happen will bring new people in if we will be positive about our worship, if we'll express our love to Him and praise Him and speak to others about how wonderful it is to gather together to worship. I believe that we can really begin to see more and more people added to our worship service, perhaps even more than 10%. I'm sure you realize that creating new ministries and accomplishing new things for God requires funding. And of course, if we're going to reach the goals that we mentioned, that brings us to our fourth goal, and that is to have an 11% increase in our giving this year. That we're not giving just to accumulate dollars, but we're giving so that we might invest in souls and we might be able to reach new people. The devil's going to do everything he can this year to keep us from reaching these goals. He's going to throw roadblocks in our way, obstacles we're going to have to overcome. But we can do it. We can overcome the devil, and we can reach those goals. It's going to take teamwork, though. We can't do it all by ourselves. We have to work together as a unit, move ahead, and accomplish things for God. You know, one of these teams is going to win in this second half, and the team, all of you that are cheering for that team, are going to celebrate. The good news is every one of us can win in the building of God's kingdom. There are no losers when we're working for Him. So if we'll just do our best and pursue these goals, I believe that we can accomplish our task and we can reach the goals that we've set for ourselves, and we can celebrate. I'm going to do my best to keep these goals in front of you this year. We can come down to December and celebrate the fact that we have accomplished what we set out to do, and we have won a good thing for God.